What up, boys, and welcome back to yet another video. In today's video, we're going to talk about how Blizzard just keeps on disappointing. And I'm sad to say that because obviously it's a game that I really love, and I just feel like Blizzard is steering in the wrong direction. Now, I'm going to get more into detail so everything becomes clear of why I think so, though. Firstly, I do want to announce that I'm doing a giant sale on the gold, guys, where the first 20 people that uses the discount code SALE will get any of the gold guide for just $9.99. So wherever you're playing Retail, War Within, Cataclysm Classic, or if you're playing Classic Anniversary, you can get any of the gold guides for just $9.99 using the discount code SALE. So that's going to be linked down below in the description. But when I say that I'm getting disappointed with Blizzard and their basically the route that they're going in, I'm speaking from a gold farming perspective, right? Because we've seen a decline in Blizzard's approach on farmable items ever since Dragonflight came out with the new profession system where there's no open world BOE. The first expansion in WoW to not have any open world BOEs. There's no like farmable mounts from drops like you had in BFA, where you had one mount to each zone. There's very little farmable battle pets outside of a couple of rare elites. And there's just very little collectible items to grind out in the game, which Blizzard has historically always had. Now, basically, what we've been left with is farming green and blue items, right? And cloth. And outside of that, if you wanted a fancy big boy purple item, you had to go and farm raid trash until now. Because there's just been a ton of people who have reported that all of the Liberation of Undermine BOEs have been kicked off the auction house and made soulbound. Blizzard still hasn't made any comments of this, like why they've done it. It just seems like Blizzard was like, nah, screw this. We don't want people to get BOE items. And it's always a discussion or a question that I get from my viewers where they ask me, student, why do you think that Blizzard haven't added any open world BOEs? And to me, it was pretty obvious to why they didn't do it in Dragonflight, because they made a new crafting system. They really wanted people to place crafting orders and take use of this new system that they obviously spent a lot of time and resources on, and they wanted people to craft their epic items rather than just going on the auction house and buying it off an auction house from somebody that got it in the open world. Now, I thought that was fair as the expansion release, but I kind of expected them to add some BOE epic items later on in Dragonflight. They never did. War Within comes around. Guess what? No new epic drops from open world, which I think sucks because in the current expansion or the previous expansions that we've had, you can even go back with the professions and you can craft BOE items and sell them as collectible items. Now, that's pretty rough with the new profession system. Let's face it, very few people are going to go back to Dragonflight, as an example, and craft themselves an appearance from a profession that they want. It's just not convenient. They can't just go in the auction house, search for missing appearances, and purchase it. And it's going to be the same thing in War Within. So this was a horrible change, in my opinion. That nobody is complaining about open world epic drops. Nobody has ever complained about that, as far as I'm concerned. It's always been in the game since vanilla. Vanilla WoW had open world BOEs and epic BOEs from raids. So did TBC, Wrath of the Lich King, Cataclysm, Panda. You guys get the idea. Every expansion has had them, and now we're on the second expansion without them, and we're even wiping out BOE items from the current raid right now. Now, if this was on purpose, or if there's some kind of weird exploit that I'm not aware of that is allowing people to just print epic items or using some kind of exploit in order to do so, and therefore they wanted to stop the supply of epic items on the auction house until they've implemented a fix, I don't know. It just seems very odd because usually when people do shady shit, they let me know, and I never cover it on the YouTube channel because I don't want to like throw gasoline on the fire. Because if I tell people, yo, there's an exploit going on, you can do this. Like a lot of people are doing that, right? There's a couple of exceptions where I've done it, where it's been like such a huge impact to the economy and it's been such an obvious exploit that a lot of people are talking about, that I also make a video on it to at least try to give it some attention in hopes that it will be nerfed. And so far that's been working, but I am very interested in hearing your response about not just the fact that they removed all of the BOE items and made them soulbound, but about Blizzard's approach in general of like BOE items. BOE items seems to be like an item of the past. Everything now seems to be BOP or bind to warband, which doesn't really make sense because like if you get an item, if you play a rogue and you get a cloth item and it's bind to your warband, sure, you could send that to one of your cloth users, right? But you don't necessarily need that item for one of your cloth users. Now, if the item drop as a BOE, you can choose. Do you want to send it to one of your cloth users, or is your cloth users well geared? Maybe you don't have any cloth users and you would much rather prefer to put that up on the auction house, sell it, and then you'll get some gold so you can buy an item that you actually need. I just think the BOE system of items is way better in general. It also opens up for more longevity of content. Like Blizzard is always talking about making their expansion, their zones and everything evergreen content. They want to give people a reason to go back to older expansions. Well, when there's nothing like no gold farmers are going to go back to a lot of these expansions because it's just lacking content for us to do. Where we can go back to BFA and we can farm epic BOEs, we can farm mounts, we can do old raids in like Legion, BFA, etc. Get fancy BOE items, put it up on the auction house. There's just a lot of options, and it feels like the route that Blizzard is taking right now is, in my opinion, extremely bad. But I just had to make this video as an outburst. So please let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And of course, don't forget to be one of the first 20 people to pick up a gold guide using the discount code SALE to get it for only $9.99. With that being said, I appreciate you all watching, and I will see you all back in at tomorrow's video. But until then, bye-bye.